Welcome back to the channel. Of course, going to start off quickly by saying if you like this comment, like, share, subscribe. YouTube will promote videos that get more engagement, so share this with your friends, drop a like if you think that I've given you value. It's free for you to drop a like and you will literally be putting more money in your pocket, in your community's pocket, in your family and friends if you drop a free like. So consider doing that if you think that I've shared material that helps you. So today we're going to talk about, should you bring up the subject of Bitcoin on a first date? Is this something you should speak about? Really important to remember with these sort of subjects is that it's not going to help you if you think in terms that are too extreme or binary all the time. So don't always think that it has to be a yes, and then don't always think that it has to be a no. You don't want to be in these camps that are so thick-headed that it always has to look one way and it can never look another way. Use nuanced thinking, right? We're Bitcoiners. We're used to thinking outside of the box, away from the average, away from the normie matrix slave mind. So don't think in too hard-coded terms that can end up being really mean to somebody by always thinking that it has to look a certain way and then forcing that because you come from such a scarcity place that you have to force something in a way that's unfair or unkind. So don't think in a binary way that you always must bring up Bitcoin or that you can never bring up Bitcoin. Be in the middle, use a nuanced thinking. Remember that the topic of Bitcoin is polarizing to a lot of people. In the last decade, I'm sure a lot of people have come across Bitcoiners that have been a little bit strange. And so someone's opinion of a Bitcoiner might be that, oh, they're all Bitcoin bros, or they're all weird crypto bros that get really preachy and that are really unkind and unempathetic. You know, someone might think, oh, my third cousin at Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner talked about Bitcoin, and he also is like a flat earther, and he also thinks we didn't land on the moon or something. So you might risk alienating people, and you didn't intend to do that just because of the preconceived notions. So be aware of the notions that exist in the world and apply those in a smart way. Again, keep nuanced thinking alive in your brain so that you can treat the people around you in a kind way. Also keep in mind that different politicians sometimes like Bitcoin, other politicians at other points might dislike Bitcoin, and some people in the mainstream might think that if you like Bitcoin, you are saying by virtue of that you agree with 100% of what this other individual says. We know that that's very silly, right? Because say that you like a baseball or a football team, and there's one player there who might not agree with you on liking something random like ham sandwiches or something, or peanut butter and jelly. Does that mean if that person doesn't agree with you that then you dislike the team? Or if that person does agree with you and you do like ham and cheese sandwiches, that you agree with everything that that person says and everything that that team stands for? No, you're a nuanced thinker. You can pick different things that suit you and reject other ideas and accept other ideas, but not everyone can have that full clarity of that colorful thinking to think outside of the box. So they might polarize and think that you are in one camp when you're not in that one camp, just because they think that you agree with 100% of what someone else says, just because you happen to agree with them on one tiny point, which was Bitcoin or something. So be aware that unfair stigma might exist. So keep that in your mind and use that smart thinking when you're talking to people, right? Use your brain, be a very sharp, astute thinker, and be guided by empathy. Keep in mind that there's another risk in that if you don't bring up Bitcoin, maybe you'll risk out losing on your soulmate because maybe they loved Bitcoin and you had no idea because you were too scared. So you took my former point and you were like, I'm going to be safe and I'm going to never talk about it. But then you might risk losing out on someone who also had a passion for it, and you would have had no idea if you didn't have the courage to bring it up. So be at a smart, healthy, delicate middle. A short answer here for should you bring up Bitcoin on a first date is that you should generally be talking about things that make you happy. So if you are passionate about it, talk about it. Don't get preachy, but talk about your hobbies. Talk about the things that you love. Talk about those things that organically come out of your heart. So many people are not passionate in the world today because how passionate would you be if you had to go to a dark, dingy, gray office every day that doesn't encourage you to be an independent thinker and just wants you to have the slave mind of the matrix and just punch a time card, get in and get out, be in this dark, creepy office that, school didn't prepare you to think outside of the box. School didn't school didn't remind you to deviate from the masses. It told you to be a good little soldier. It told you to get in line on that same conveyor belt and blend in with everybody else. Just be a mindless drone. That's what school and these common systems set you up to do, because they need everyone to come together. It's good when humans have teamwork and we come together, but blending in too much and being too bland and not standing out can also have some downsides. So again, talk about the things that you love, because standing out can be good sometimes. Sometimes standing out in an ignorant way is not good. So keep that in mind. But people will appreciate the fact that you're talking about something that you're passionate about, because sometimes this world doesn't fully encourage passionate, unique thinking people. So you could bring some great happiness into someone's world and really light up their eyes because you get so excited to talk about this hobby that you love, Bitcoin, or whatever your hobby is. Say it's like nature or hiking. Bring up those hobbies if they truly come from, a genuine place in your heart. Talk about it, because people will be drawn to people who are passionate about other things. They'll get passionate about things that you're passionate about just because you're talking about it in a way that's really exciting. Always going to remind you, do not get preachy, do not proselytize. You could lead into the subject about Bitcoin by maybe bringing it up very lightly and saying, hey, like on your date, you can ask them, hey, I was researching this, I read this book lately, and I was curious about Bitcoin, and I wanted to get your thoughts. Leave it there. If they don't pursue that thread of conversation, leave it alone. Have the intelligence to leave it alone. Maybe come back to it later, maybe don't, but read the situation in a smart way. Show that you actually care about human beings because you can read their reaction. Bring it up. If they want to engage on it, keep talking about it more. If they don't, just be like, okay, no worries. We'll talk about something else. What movies do you like? What do you like hiking? Don't be afraid to put down a subject. A very important rule that I heard a long time ago was that in the context of dating, people will be able to laugh with you if you're breaking a rule. Like say you make a cheeky joke or a joke that is a little bit on the edge, a little bit edgy, that the mainstream average masses might not like. You can break a rule as long as you know the rule exists. So you can lightly break a rule. You can likely, in a light way, make that hilarious joke that's a little bit too edgy for some people, if you do it in a way that shows that you can pull back, relax, again, show kindness. We always are hammering on that. Everything you do should be coming from a good place in your heart, because you want to make people's day better, because you're not a negative, toxic leech. You want to make their day better. You want to enrich their lives. In a funny way, you can break rules as long as you know that they exist, because you're showing social acuity. You're showing that you understand the rules and you're not a crazy, unhinged person who just goes off the rails. You can show confidence in an empathetic way. You know the rule exists. You can get close to that fence, get close to that boundary, close to breaking a rule, making a cheeky, silly joke. But you know the rule exists and you're doing it in a way that shows a delicate touch. A last point my friend made was that there's something to be said for people that are cosmically supposed to be around you. So not everyone is going to have this great energy that comes from the stars or comes from a higher power or comes from the universe, that they were meant to be around you. Some people are, and those are really, really special people. But not everyone is meant to be around you. You're not meant to have organic chemistry with everybody. If you did have chemistry with all 8 billion people on the world, you would probably be very bland. So it's good to have some people in your world and some people who aren't supposed to be there. Again, you are someone who can knock someone off the fence. You can get someone to really fully be your ally, or you can understand if they are really not supposed to be in your world. You won't have them straddling the fence. You'll knock them off the fence. They won't be in the middle to be like, oh, I can tolerate him. He's average enough. He's boring. Okay. He's enough. He's mainstream mediocre. He's okay. I can tolerate him for the next 5 minutes. I'm bored. He can entertain me. No, you want people that love being around you. So knock them off the fence. Don't be scared to find out if they're really in or if they're really out. And then you can use your time in an effective way, and you can have them be your ally. You can have them become, this great person that's meant to be in your world, or you can just leave them be and let them go find, the people that they're supposed to connect with better, because you don't need everyone to like you and accept you. You want to be around emotionally intelligent people who have a good sense of humor and who have good chemistry with you. That's another point that my friend made. Emotionally intelligent people have a good sense of humor. And have you ever noticed that when you're on that fun date and you have that humor with somebody, it's like you unlock this magical, extra fun, incredible, cherry on top, beautiful level of the video game, because that person was just being silly with you. You could make funny faces. You're laughing so much that maybe your water or your juice goes through your nose because you're laughing so hysterically. And you found that sort of magical chemistry with the right person. You could talk about purple elephants and unicorns and rainbows and anything stupid and dumb, and you two would be laughing, having this awesome cosmic energy that just comes from another special starlight that comes from the universe or something. And so if it's not meant to be there, don't force it. And if it is, be able to have that awareness that this is a great magical event and have fun with it. Laugh about it. Don't make it so serious, overly logical. Talk about the things that you love. Let me know what you think about what my thoughts were on this subject of should you talk about Bitcoin on a date. I would love to hear your thoughts. Hope your day is incredible.